eat a calorie deficit, eat more protein, walk more. I'm sure you had that lame generic advice before in order to lose fat, right? Well, in today's video, I'm going to share with you my top 8 original weight loss tips that's going to get you shredded by summer 2025. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? Rich here for Fish Brotherhood. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. I'm giving you my top 8 tips to get you shredded by summer 2025. And note, I'm not going to spit some lame generic advice. So we're going to jump into it right away. I don't want to waste your time. Let's go. Tip number 1. Now, this is going to set the stage for the whole video, so you're going to make sure you understand this point. And I give some more tactical advice later. But the very first thing you need to do if you want to get shredded by summer 2025 is you got to shift your mindset from weight loss to fat loss. Now, you might be thinking, like, what's the difference? Maybe it's semantics. It's actually not semantics. So weight loss can be anything from like losing body fat, losing muscle, losing water, losing glycogen, maybe going to the washrooms, you emptied out the tank a little bit. So that's weight loss. If you just focus the number on the scale, you're missing the big picture. What we want is fat loss. And our goal is to lose as much fat as possible, but retain as much muscle as possible. Weight loss is simple. If you want weight loss, all you gotta do is don't eat calories, walk around a lot, do 1,000 burpees a day, and you're gonna get weight loss. Obviously, I'm being facetious, but fat loss is very different. And we wanna make sure we protect our muscle in the fat loss phase as we drop body fat. And that's gonna set the stage for the whole video. I'm gonna tell you now how you can drop body fat while still maintaining your muscle, because that's the look you want, and that's the look that's gonna get you lean, shredded, and feeling confident with your shirt off in summer 2025. Now, the second thing you need is the most boring thing you're going to do, but believe me, it's the most important thing you're going to do. And every single one of our members who comes to our team sets this up. You got to set up this SMART acronym. So maybe you heard this before: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-oriented. So make it specific. What's the goal you want to achieve? Maybe you want to lose like 25 pounds of body fat, whatever it is. Measurable, same thing, right? So you want to make sure it's a measurable goal. Kind of feeds into specific. So maybe it's like 25 pounds of stubborn belly fat, whatever it may be. Attainable. Now, this is the big one. What are 2 to 3 actionable steps that's going to make you get towards your goal? So maybe it's like walking 10,000 steps per day. Maybe it's having 150 grams of protein. Maybe it's 2,000 calories per day. Whatever it is, you got to make 3 steps that's going to get to your goal. More on that in just a second. You got to make them realistic, obviously. If you say you want to lose 30 pounds in 10 days, I mean, I'm sure 90% of the population wants that, but you got to make sure you set yourself a realistic goal. And that leads my next point, time-oriented. So how long is it going to take you to complete your goal? And generally speaking, I recommend do about 3 months or 90 days to kind of give yourself that time specific goal, and then you can really look back and improve on that goal from there. Again, this seems super boring, but it's so important to do, because if you don't have this, it's the equivalent of just driving on a road trip, but you have no idea where you're going. Like if you want to say, I want to lose 30 pounds, awesome, but what steps are you going to do to get to that 30 pounds? How long is it going to take you? You really got to fill this out. Believe me on this. Take 5 minutes, take 10 minutes, get specific. The more specific you are, the better chance you have of getting shredded by summer 2025. Tip number 3, and this will be by far the most controversial thing I say, but you want to set yourself up with a cheat day. So what do I mean by that, and why would I say that? Think about it this way. I think a lot of guys, we really try to eat too clean a lot of the times, and we try to be perfect. Like we cut out alcohol, we cut out sugar, we cut out carbs, we go all in, we do like 5-6 workouts a week. Maybe you do good for a couple of weeks or maybe in a month or two, but what happens months down the road? We start to burn out because we want to actually live life. Like we want to go to a restaurant, maybe with our partner or friends. We want to have a few drinks. We want to watch the sports game, like whatever it may be. If we're trying to be too perfect and we don't give ourselves room to have some of those foods or drinks that we enjoy, we're simply going to burn out. Now think of it this way. If you go to your job, I'm assuming you have 1 or 2 days off per week, right? You need that to kind of reset, maybe spend some time with your family or friends, whatever it may be. If I told you, hey, I want you to work 6 months straight with no days off and do 12 to 14-hour shifts, what would you tell me? Probably to fuck off, right? So think of it that way. If you spend just like too much time and energy trying to be perfect with everything, you're just going to burn yourself out. Now, I'm going to tell you exactly how to do this if you want to learn to set up a cheat day. So I'll drop in the comments below, excuse me, and just feel free to grab it. It's our weekend warrior method. It's going to you step by step in terms of how to set up calories, how to set up protein. That way you have that strategic cheat day, and obviously it's 100% free. That's step number 3. Tip number 4, and some tactical advice in which I promise you're going to want to lift weights 4 to 5 times per week. If that seems like a lot, start with 3 and work your way up to 4. So why do I say that? Well, remember at the beginning, I said you want fat loss and not weight loss. Well, this is exactly that feeds into my point. If we just focus on cardio and doing a ton of calories, yes, you're going to drop weight. However, how much muscle we're losing if we're doing nothing to protect our muscle in the gym. So again, our goal is to lose as much fat as possible but retain as much muscle as possible. And to do that, you got to make sure you're lifting weights in the gym. And focusing on burning calories is a very flawed approach. And if you've seen any of my videos in my channel before, you know that exercise only makes up 5 to 10% of how many calories you burn in a given day. So why we spend so much time and effort on that 5 to 10% when our goal is to keep our muscle and drop body fat? So shift your mindset from burning calories to lifting weights and protect your muscle in the gym. And I guarantee that's going to give you the physique that you want by the summer. All right, tip number 5, you ready for it? Focus on calories and protein, fuck the carbs and the fats. So what do I mean by that? My goal here, I'm going to really simplify this for you. And once you understand this, I guarantee it's going to make losing fat so much easier and more simple for you. And that's so important to have. So what I mean by that is I want you to focus on how many total calories you're having per day and how much protein you're having per day. And what I don't want you to focus on and be obsessed about is like a macronutrient breakdown, like 40% carbs, 40%, or 30% fats, 30% protein, for example. Get your protein and your calories. Once you have that, you can choose to have more carbohydrates or more fats. And it's 100% up to you because there's so much research that actually shows as long as your calories and protein are set, it doesn't make a difference if it's more carbs or more fats. And it just makes it so much easier for you to do. Because the last thing I want you to do is, get out MyFitnessPal and you're plugging carbohydrates in, fats in. It's just so much effort, which you really don't need. And like I said, research shows it's just not necessary to do. And our goal is to make it simple and easy for you. Like for myself, I'm Italian, so I'm going to choose more carbohydrates. But if you kind of like more like sweets, desserts, maybe cream, stuff like that, then just kind of fit it in for the remaining calories. And that's what you can have. And that's the beauty of it. And I want you to think about it that way. And it'd be like you going to work and it's so much easier if you just focus on 1 or 2 tasks that your boss potentially gives you. You just do it to clear vision. The 1 or 2 things I'm telling you to do is calories and protein. If I told you to focus on like carbs, fats, calories, protein, and then obviously you get your workouts and on 100 other things on top of it, then it just becomes overwhelming. And it's the same that your job, if your boss tells you like 4 or 5 different tasks, it's just a lot. So focus on calories and protein, fuck the carbs and the fats, and I guarantee it's going to make losing fat a lot easier and simple for you, which is a game changer in the long run. Tip number 6. Now, this is not absolutely necessary to do, but I definitely recommend it if you can, and I'll explain what I mean. The tip is eat more, move more. So what do I mean by that? So if you want to lose fat, ideally you want to eat as many calories as you can, but you also want to increase your step count to compensate for that. Obviously, if we eat more and move less, we're going to gain body fat. If we eat more, but still move more relative to the food, we're going to lose body fat. And this is what I'm recommending to do. It all goes back to, again, the original point. If you have enough calories, enough protein, it just makes keeping our muscle mass a lot better, which would be better for fat loss. And if the calories are too low, we're probably not going to have protein in, and we're probably not getting nutrients in, which can affect more of the muscle mass. And maybe you're speaking more weight loss now, which is not what we want. I get it. For a lot of people, though, it's a little bit unrealistic because maybe let's say you can't move more and you have a busy job. Let's say you have to spend time with your family and you just don't have the time to walk 10, 12, 14,000 steps per day. The second option you can do, if that's almost impossible for you, you can eat less, move less. However, it's just not what I would recommend for all the reasons I talked about. Just know if you are walking less, you got to decrease your calories to compensate. And on the contrary, what I'm talking about, if you eat more, you get to move more, and it's just more enjoyable as well because every single person loves food. And if you're able to walk a little bit more, then you can just give yourself a little more wiggle room, I should say, with the calories. And again, this can just be better for fat loss compared to weight loss in the grand scheme of things. So tip number 6, if you can, move more, eat more. If you can't, then obviously you have to eat less, move less if the schedule is a little bit busy. Tip number 7, this can be miscellaneous, and there's 3 tactical things you can do. Number 1, 30 grams of protein every single meal. Number 2, limit your liquid calories. And number 3, plan out your meals. Let's expand on that. We obviously know, again, the boring advice that you need protein in order to maintain your muscle mass and lose body fat. The simplest way to do that, because a lot of guys just really struggle getting protein in, is aim for at least 30 grams every single meal. You have that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 90 grams right there. You add a protein shake, 120, and you're laughing. And obviously every single meal is going to be a little bit over 30, like it's not going to be 30 in the dot. So you're going to easily get 130, 140, 150 without even trying. And if you do want more options on that, just comment below and I'll send you our protein cheat sheet. So just let me comment protein down below if you want me to send your way, and I can definitely send that as well for you. But just make sure you are getting every single meal, and it makes it so much easier to do. Now, the second thing you want to do is limit your liquid calories. Now, admittedly, I'm a whiskey guy, I'm a beer guy. I save that for the weekend, but I plug it into our Weekend Warrior method where I can afford to, still have some of those cheat drinks, if you want to call it that. But basically, liquid calories, it could be like a lot of sugar in your coffee. It could be like fruit juice, pop, maybe sorry, soda in the US if you're watching there. We call it pop in Canada. So whatever it is, you want to limit how many calories you're taking in with the drinks because they just add up like crazy. And the third thing I say is plan out your meals. I shouldn't say this is tactical, but a little bit, I guess you could say. But just make sure you're not just going into a day where you have no idea what to eat. So you don't have to meal prep on Sunday like a bodybuilder and plan out like every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But if you don't prep, let's say for a couple days in advance, at least know what you're going to have and just execute it when you get back from work. And that way, maybe you're on the same page with your partner, whatever it may be, or just by yourself, you know exactly what to do. So 30 grams of protein every meal. Limit your liquid drinks the best you can. I'm a bit of a hypocrite there because I do drink my whiskey and beer on the weekend. And the third thing you're going to do is try to meal plan or meal prep the best you can. The better plan you have, the better chance of success. All right, before we get to the most important point, let me just recap quickly. I'm going to read off my notes. No shame. I don't read off the teleprompter. This is all natural. This is one time I'm going to look down. But the 7 things, again, to kind of recap what we talked about before getting to point number 8. Remember, shift your mindset, weight loss to fat loss. You know that. Number 2, make sure you set up your SMART, so you're specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-oriented. Don't skip that, believe me. The third thing you want to do is set up a strategic cheat day if possible. And again, if you want more info on it, grab the free document or Weekend Warrior down below. The fourth thing, you want to lift weights 4 to 5 times per week. The fifth thing, calories and protein. Fuck the carbs and the fats. Remember that. So set up your calories and protein and don't worry about calculating like a macro ratio. The sixth thing, if possible, eat more, move more. We went over that. The seventh thing, I kind of just talked about the miscellaneous tips. Now the eighth thing, and this is the thing most guys often overlooked. And the last thing you want to make sure you're doing, and I've talked about this in my previous videos before, is you want to make sure you're doing it with someone. So whether it's like a friend, a family member, getting a coach, doing it in a community, whatever it might be, you want to make sure you're trying to get, lose that body fat, you're trying to get shredded. You want to make sure you're doing it on the same journey as someone that's going with you or helping you. If you're trying to do it by yourself, it's just simply not going to work as well. And you just have no one to keep accountable. Like, I don't know about you. I live in a cold climate. Right now, it's like minus 15 and snowing in Canada right now. And a lot of times, I just don't want to go for a walk. But sometimes just having that accountability with my brother, it helps me out. And I'll continue to push through, even though I don't really feel like doing it. So again, whether you're doing it with your partner, friend, get a coach, whatever it may be, trust me, don't overlook the importance of accountability. And there's been a stat that showed people who had some sort of partner with them or friend or whatever it may be had about a 70% chance of increasing their goal, or I should say exceeding their goal compared to the person who did it by himself. And that number actually jumps to like 90%. I can't remember the exact numbers, roughly 90%. If you have some sort of like check-in, meet-in, whatever it may be. So don't neglect that. Focus on accountability. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, weight loss to fat loss. That's kind of the theme of it. And I talked about some tactical things you can do, some things maybe you never potentially heard of before, like some of that cheat day that you can do. And I just hope you got some good, valuable information from it. And if you did enjoy this video, it'd mean a lot to me if you give me a thumbs up, if you subscribe. It helps the channel. I'm still a small channel on YouTube. Instagram, I'm a little more established, almost 6,000 followers. But on YouTube, I'm still small. I just started last year. So it would mean a lot to me if you can help me grow a little bit. That way I can reach more people. Thank you so much for watching it. I truly appreciate all you watching to the end. And we'll talk soon.